All right, so let's talk about website flipping because this is one of those businesses that actually work, but it's also one of the things that people either overcomplicate or completely misunderstand, or they just give you some false promises. Now, the concept itself is very simple. You buy a website, you improve it, and then you sell it for more. You don't even have to improve it sometimes. That's literally the whole model. But of course, the simplicity is misleading because where people fail is in the details, especially when it comes to choosing the right website and understanding what actually makes a site valuable. So first, let's talk about where you even find these websites, because this is usually the first question people have. There are a few main platforms for this, and the two most common ones are Empire Flippers and Flippa.com. These are basically marketplaces where people list online businesses for sale. And when I say businesses, I mean actual assets. This could be a blog that makes money through ads or affiliate links. It could be an e-commerce store. It could be a YouTube channel as well. You can buy that if that's your thing. It could be a newsletter or, even a simple site selling digital products. Now, if you go on Empire Flippers first, you're going to notice something very quickly. The prices are high. You're going to see listings for tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands, even over $1 million for a website. And that's because these are already established businesses with proven revenue and everything is verified. Sellers have to provide proof and buyers also need to verify funds before they can see full details. So this platform is for more serious buyers with some larger budgets. But if you're just starting out, that's probably not where you want to be. This is why a lot of beginners prefer Flippa.com, because on Flippa, you can find websites for much lower prices, sometimes a few $100s, sometimes under $1,000. There's even this category here, so get a fast start under $2,500. And this is where things get more interesting for flipping, because you can actually afford to test things first, right? Now, before you even think about buying anything, you need to understand how to evaluate a website. This is the part that decides whether you make money or lose it. When you look at any listing, there are two numbers that matter the most. First of all, there is the price, of course. This one, for example, is $100 and some change. And then you have to look at monthly profit here. Not all of these are going to be seen once you get on the website. You're going to have to ask for it, but sometimes you're just going to see it right here. So, for example, if a site makes $500 in revenue, but only $50 in profit, this is when you talk about some e-commerce store. Now, that's a completely different situation than a site making $100 in revenue and $90 in profit. So always focus on this monthly profit. If there is revenue, if you're buying an e-commerce store, it's gonna be different. Now, there is a simple rule people use in this space. You usually want to pay around 5 to 10 times the monthly profit, maybe even 20 times if you have the time for it, right? So, for example, if you pay $100 for this site here, it'll mean that you will need to run it yourself without improving it for 20 plus months in order to get your money back. So that's the whole math. This matters even more when you're just flipping, all right? When you're not just trying to improve the website and, increase the monthly profit that the website already has. Because when you sell the site, the next buyer will use the same logic. They'll ask themselves how long it takes to recover their investment. So what I would do if I had some starting capital, I would just go to these here and then go through the categories here. So there's content, there's apps, there's e-commerce stores, and then you can click on any one of these. So for example, let's just go with, radio, maybe skin clothes maker for Roblox. Click on that. You're gonna see that the highest bid here is $20. The monthly profit here is $4 per month. So this is a good one. 5 months until you break even. And then you can do a lot of things with it, depending on the niche. But here's the part that matters. You don't just buy it and resell it immediately, all right? That is not flipping. Flipping means increasing the value before selling. So once you own the site, your job is to improve it. And there are a few main ways to do that. The first one is traffic, of course. If you can bring more people to the site, you increase its potential to generate money. This could be through SEO. This could be through posting content or even using social media to drive visitors there. The second one is monetization. A lot of sites are not fully optimized. Maybe they have traffic, but no clear way to make money. Maybe they rely only on ads when they could also use affiliate links. For example, if it's a blog about products, you can add affiliate links. If it's an e-commerce site, you can improve product pages or pricing. There's a lot of AI tools that can help you with that nowadays. If it's a newsletter, you can introduce paid subscriptions or sponsorships. The third is optimization. Sometimes the site is already making money, but it's not structured properly. Bad design or slow loading speed, weak cost to action. Fixing these things can increase conversions without increasing traffic, which means more profit from the same visitor. Now, once you improve the site, you can sell it again. And this is where the actual profit comes from. So let's say that you buy a site for $500 and it makes $50 per month. You improve it and now it makes $150 per month. Using the same valuation logic, that site could now sell for $750 or even $1,500. And that's your margin. Of course, this is not going to be a get-rich-quick scheme or something like that. This will need work and it'll take time. But not every site is a good opportunity as well. Some sellers inflate their numbers. Some traffic sources are unstable. Some niches are already saturated or declining. That's why you need to do proper research before buying anything at all. That's why I say this is work. This is going to be dedication, full dedication, and, just being there. Also, you need to check where the traffic is coming from. Is it organic search? Is it social media? Is it paid ads? Because if the traffic disappears, the income disappears. You also need to understand how the site makes money. Is it ads? Is it affiliate marketing? Products? And most importantly, you need to ask yourself one simple question. Can I improve this? If the answer is no, you shouldn't buy it. Now let's talk about expectations, because this is another place where people go wrong. This is not passive income. It's never going to be. You need starting capital. It's not for, just getting there and getting the site for nothing. Even if it's small, you need time and you need to learn how these websites actually work. You can't just randomly buy something and hope it goes up in value. That's not how it works. It's going to be losing money. What you should do instead is spend time learning the marketplace. Go on Flippa.com, go on Empire Flippers, scroll through listings, compare prices, look at profit numbers, understand patterns, and do this for a few days, even a week, before you spend any money. Because once you start recognizing good deals and bad deals, everything becomes easier. You'll start noticing which sites are overpriced, which ones are undervalued, which ones have potential, and that's when flipping becomes interesting. Because now you're not guessing, you're making informed decisions. There are people who scale this. They flip multiple websites, or they hold some for passive income and flip others for profit, but that comes later. In the beginning, you should focus on one deal, on one site, and on one improvement. Just do it properly. Understand what worked, understand what didn't, and then repeat the process, because this is not about speed. It's about understanding. If you rush into it, you're going to make mistakes. If you take your time, you'll learn. And once you understand how to buy, how to improve, and sell websites, you can do it again and again, and that's when it turns into a real business. Not something you try once, but something you build over time. And that's the difference between people who lose money in this and people who actually make it work. So yeah, there is no course for this. There is no shortcut for this. It's just going to be you, your research, and your dedication to this. So yeah, do it properly, and I wish you good luck. Catch you next time.